banyak dan banyak begitu waktu itu pas lagi apa ya oke baiklah jangan main
แต่มันเอียง
jangan main itu buat pengumpulan data
Okay. So for the second question, I think we have some problem because Ajahn Amarit request. So sorry, I forgot that you are not data science. So first we have to do query. So today I will teach you first how to do merge query. Because ใช่คำถามนี้ใช่ไหมคะคำถามนี้ปะคะอ๋อโอเคไม่เป็นไรlook at the warehouse because we have to measure but different table so we have two fact table so today before machine learning I will teach you how to merge two fact table into one fact table and then you can do the exercise assignment okay so open your Power BI open first open exerciseเรียบร้อยค่ะไม่มีอะไร Last time we have 3 tables and then I asked you to load one more table name duck OPD นะ so I wrote duck OPD data okay and from here you can edit query like you don't want to have DID STD you can edit I just load it just load load text and open you can edit if you want to edit some column here you can just delete how to delete transform delete where is delete column no delete remove okay and then reload drag here drag OPD so you have 4 tables and then link PID to PID, right? But after you link and you create new filter I10, filter ICD and then do the report. But when you select some ICD, the report didn't change. So we have to merge first by edit query and we want to have only one fact table. Right now diagnosis we have one and another one for back OPD. We want to have drug name and amount from drug OPD into diagnosis. So we combine merge query. Where is merge? First column combine merge. Oh, อันนี้ค่ะ merge query. Merge is mean merge to example but append is append at the end. Merge query. So the program asks which table you want to merge. So we want to merge diagnosis OPD and drug OPD merged by two key PID and date serve. So click PID and shift date serve. So we select two columns here and then so it means this is two key, primary key. We will merge that name and amount to this table based on these two keys. Right? Left outer mean diagnosis is the main, and we add this data into this table. So we click.
Can I switch between two factors?
Yeah, you can switch, but you have to select the join kind for the right one. Left outer is mean you choose this one, the main one. Right outer mean this is the main one. Full outer is mean like union. Union, this one intersect. So for now we want to keep this one as a mean. So we select left outer, this one is the mean. And then add this data to this table. So left outer. And then OK.
So when you select two columns by the chip key, you select in the drug OPD or the
Both. So your DAC OPD is data is here. It's here, but in table form, we want to see data. So this icon, a small icon here, expand. Select expand to include that name and amount. So select only two. We select PID and date serve because we already have it here. Otherwise, we will have PID, date serve, PID1, date serve 1, D name and amount. So we select only D name and amount. And OK. And apply. So your diagnosis OPD, this is the previous one, and add two column from that name and amount.
Sure, it's appear as now in column.
It's now because you keep the left one as the name, but if you scroll down, you will see data. It's now because this PID and date serve, they come with diagnosis but no medicine. But if you scroll down, you see. Because we keep the left one as a mean. But if you keep inner join, it means union. So if you select left, it means you select this is the So you have both diagnosis and drug. But you see now it has only diagnosis but no medicine. This is left joint. If you select inner joint, intersect. For right joint and outer joint means union. from here you can do the assignment number 2 for assignment number 2 so you have diagnosis age and age group I didn't change the name sorry that name and amount you can filter with like a code and then do report that name that amount change ICD ไม่มี you can search for I10 ตัวเล็กเกินแต่ที่บ้านมันไม่เล็กนะทำไมขึ้นจอมันเล็ก you select I10 change age group right so we rename first rename column rename to age group as a filter so you select ICD sorry for the small font but when I work at PC, my own the font is normal, but when we duplicate to monitor, it's too small. So here is I filter by ICD. This is age group and medicine. Then is amount. You can do down, and if you select 60 and above, the graph change. Below 60 graph change. Right. So this is assignment number 2. So you do like this and do some comparison and do some visualization and explain. Okay.
This is the last class that I saved, and that's it. I don't do anything. Yes, I want to start from the beginning. I have to do things for video record. Oh, because she talked too fast, and then just keep watching video recording.
more questions about BIs and data warehouse? จะถามเลยไหมคะ Table Legend อ๋อไว้ใส่ชื่อเฉยๆชื่อเฉยๆใส่ชื่อ So you can do assignment assignment number 2 by post it don't see it okay. So today is the last session for lecture and next time we go to อะไรนะ public health จารนิต Two more things is about machine learning algorithm design, just introduction and research informatics. And the assignment will be for machine learning algorithm design. So start with this one first. Tell you that what is the difference between statistical modeling and machine learning. Mainly statistical modeling start with hypothesis and you want to test hypothesis. But machine learning you find some knowledge in data without any hypothesis. So it's a little bit different, but basically fundamentally is math and stat is the same. For machine learning techniques and algorithm, normally has four main, but actually it's more than that. It depends on your type of data is continuous or categorical. The outcome are supervised and unsupervised. I will explain later what is supervised and unsupervised. But basically, supervised is you know why. For logistics, you say y equal to function of x. For supervised, you know why. Y is yes or no continuous. You want to predict y based on x, but you already know the answer. But for unsupervised, you don't have any y. You have only x, and you want to cluster or group x or find association between x but no y. Really we have supervised and unsupervised, but when time goes every day, they try to create new theory. So sometimes they have semi-supervised, we have supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised, and reinforcement learning. So in terms of machine learning type, we have four main: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So next time when you talk with your data science student friends, you will understand what is it. I know, I know supervised, I know unsupervised. So as I told you that supervised is you have target output is mean y and input is x1 to xn. So what is the model for supervised? If your y is continuous, it form your basic statistic. Y equal to function of x and y is continuous. cancer. Example first. So how a growth rate of GDP is affecting the housing price. So your Y is housing price, which is continuous, and this is X input. You want to predict this variable based on this one. So you use linear regression. Yay! So the same, actually, like in my previous slide, this one is down. Yeah. Statistics and machine learning, data learning is not intersect. intersect somewhere. Should be intersect somewhere. So for supervised learning, where Y is continuous, is we use regression. But for Y is categorical, like we want to predict normal and abnormal. Y is categorical and X is variable. The example for categorical is still housing prediction, continuous linear regression model. For categorical, we use algorithm named classification. For example, you want to detect a lung cancer from CT image. So your Y is cancer or no cancer. Cancer or normal. So your Y is yes or no. And you have some input as X, but X is image. X is unstructured. We use supervised learning. Specific is classification type. Algorithm name classification. To predict some image. So you train the model first and then test the model if this image is cancer or normal. So it's the same concept as regression, but X is not structured data, X is image. So X is unstructured data and Y is not continuous, Y is categorical. Yeah. So for continuous we use regression. For categorical, a kind of technique, not all, a kind of technique is classification. So this is the thesis of Ganesh. So you can talk with you. And Emit, almost the same, Emit use eyes, fungus and อะไรนะ viral bacteria. Yeah, อาจารย์พัฒน์ is co-advisor. But for Khushbu use text analytic, not image, but use text. Ganesh and Emit use image analytic. So that is supervised learning. The second mean this still sorry, but this one prepared by อาจารย์เอก I borrow their slide. So your for image variable is pixel. This is pixel you have RGB, like this is RGB, 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 RGB. Each pixel is one variable. So if they have 10 and 10, so for one image is 100 variable. That's why big data. Because for application you may have 50 or 60 to use them. That is big enough, but for image, for only one picture, it's more than 100 variables. So the second one is unsupervised. Unsupervised, you don't have Y, have only X. So no target variable. This is the example. The data is online shopping customer. So you want to group type of customer based on their shopping style. So no Y packet. You want to just group them into some. Still don't know how many groups, but you want to group them and do some marketing. Like this person like to shop for cosmetic, so I send brochure for cosmetic or email cosmetic promotion to this group, and then that group like to shop household or any kind of things on shopping online. So I send them another promotions. So no why. So we call clustering. The difference between classification and clustering. Classification, you know that you have 2 group or 3 group or 4 group. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or yes or no. But clustering, you don't know how many groups you want to group. You want to test the data first. If I use only this room, 16%, maybe I have only 2 styles or 3 styles based on something. So why is not fixed for only 2 groups or 3 groups? So we call clustering. And the example is customer segmentation. This example. So we use unsupervised learning cluster to have a group of shopping style, online shopping style. And the same we train the model and test for unknown and see which section these testing variable are in any sections. So that is the unsupervised for continuous variable. But for categorical, we use associations between X and X. Associate. Still no why because it's in unsupervised learning. And this one I will show you my work with Ajahn Amarin later. I do association for medicine. We call it market basket analysis. So the example, classic example is the shopping on Thursday by a man. So the shopping center want to know that on Thursday, normally what kind of product the man like to buy together. So you know the answer, right? No, it's classic. So they collect the data and which product men like to buy on Thursday, and they found that they buy beer and diaper. because the men on Thursday they prepare for party on Friday, so they buy beer. But his wife also asked him to buy diaper for their child. So normally on Thursday, men like to buy beer and diaper. So the shopping center set the position of beer and diaper together or set promotion. Buy 2 pack of beer, get 1 diaper, something like that. So we know only X and X, no Y, and try to find associations between products. So that is the unsupervised learning. So from your basic statistics, you know supervised learning for continuous and some categorical. But right now you know unsupervised learning, you know clustering, you know associations. And for semi-supervised on this still product type. And the same, we test model first and then train model first and then test variable. If you attend your data science fair and for epidemiology, the normal question is how you calculate for sample size. Like the classic question for epidemiology student, how you calculate for sample size. But for data science student, the classic question is what is the number of sample for train model and test model? What is the proportion? Train for 80% of data and test for 20, while 20 and 80. So for machine learning, we will separate data into 2 groups because we didn't collect new data like RCT or cross-sectional. We already have data in our server, so we just split it into train data and test data. We train data for model, June model, and then test data that our model is good enough or not. So it's a little bit different, but I think it's the same concept. For semi-supervised, I mean, you know some why, but sometimes some record you don't know. But for me, it's like missing data. For my feeling, it's like missing data. But for epidemiology student, Ajahn will ask you to impute data for missing data. But in machine learning style, they say it's semi-supervised learning. So they have some technique to deal with unlabeled data. So just know that we have this kind of data. And use the same, use classification the same, but some data is unknown. And also clustering. But for the last one is reinforcement learning. What is reinforcement? I think it's like train machine to learn more. So we reinforce machine to do better models. It's the basic idea for AI. You train machine to detect something like detect. For example, you have data for maybe skin, and you do some model to train this computer to detect when you take a picture of skin and detect that this skin is the skin has some infection or not. And your model is 90% accuracy. And you train more, reinforce them to continuous improve their model. So it's like AI, you ask machine to learn, to detect infections on your skin. The same use classification. So this is just the example. Like for example, they use a customer transaction to send some brochure and then collect transaction again and see the results and improve your campaign. So it's like HA can do analysis, feedback. So your campaign is better and better because you reinforce the model. This is how to control driverless car like Google. Have you heard about Google car? They said Google train car to drive by itself, so autopilot. So first they input data to the car that this is object, you have to avoid this object and train it, reinforce it so the car is drive better and better. So it's the concept of auto driving car. So this is all for machine learning type. So at least right now you understand what is supervised, what is unsupervised, what is classification, clustering or association. But in your field you may deal with very supervised learning. What is it? But in the future, maybe the new technology come, so you can talk with your technicians or your staff that I also know that machine can do something else, or we can analyze this kind of variable. So about last 2 years, I do one research with Ajahn Amarit. When I was new here, she said that you have to do some research. So I have to find something to do. So I use, because I can retrieve medicine data, but I already asked for EC, but I retrieve first because I don't have any questions in my head. So I retrieve first and find something. After I find some pattern of medicine, I ask for EC and then write a manuscript later. So from prescription, I found that for example, the first patient got PPI, NSAID, and calcium. So I think you all know about what is PPI is proton pump inhibitor, NSAID, calcium. Second patient is antidepressant, NSAID, anti-anxiety and muscle relaxants. Third patient, NSAID, muscle relaxant, PPI. So it looks like market basket. The first person shopping for this, second person for this. So this first basket, second basket, third basket. So my question is, I want to find some association. Like, when physicians prescribe for NSAID, do they prescribe for PPI? And what kind of PPI they prescribe for this kind of NSAID? So it's like market basket. So I extract prescription data from Ramath Hospital and try to do market basket analysis. So we have many kind of so classification, clustering, association, or negation is a type of algorithm, but not a type of machine learning. But algorithm is another thing. So for classification, we have KNN, naive decision tree, or SVM. So it's like for your regression, we have linear regression, logic regression, Poisson cost for their regression, but different algorithm. So for classification is the same. We have many algorithms in here. So this is an example. So I don't think that we need to know the detail too much. So this is a kind of support vector, but basically support vector will draw some line between your data and see like this. We can separate this group and this group. Now like this, separate this group and this group and test which line is the best. So we call support vector machine. And for that, this is the baseline to separate these two groups. Another example for classification or cluster use the same is k-mean. K-mean won't draw the line, but they will set some seed first, like set this seed and see what is the can move. What is the length between this spot to this spot and try to find the baseline for group. So this one is the baseline. So they run like 14 times and try to find that what is the good line to cluster these three groups called k-mean. But back to my research. So I use association rules to at first I try to find only the association between anti-inflammation drugs, NSAID and PPI. But Ajahn always say that we have to link to some clinical knowledge. So I link to national drug use that for which kind of patient use of PPI and NSAID is rational, and for which kind of person is unrational. So first of all, I retrieve data from hospital 2 years, 2.5 million outpatient prescription with no intervention because I only study about the association between medicine, so no intervention, no case, no control, no A, no B. And data source is hospital data warehouse from Raama. And this is available all in structured data, no unstructured. And use the technique under association. We also have algorithm. I use RPO line. It's a kind of technique. And research framework is from individual data, apply for this algorithm and find association rules. And I find 12 association rules and I will show you the results. That time and I submit to journal about 7 or 8 journal form to accept. So I submit a lot. So if you do your thesis and you submit 1 or 2 and they reject, it's normal. I submit about 7 to accept for this one within 1 year. And after accept, we do revise 1, revise 2, and it's about 3 or 4 until final. So we have to fight for it. Sometimes you submit and tomorrow they say, oh, reject. But good because we don't have to wait for long. We can try for new one. I will show you. So how many of you know R program? R in Python? Oh, you know R, no? Actually, R and Python is the like software for machine learning, but Python is developed from program. R is from statistician. It's not. I think it look like Stata, because we have to write a code and this one leave file to keep in this file. So I wrote billing invoice is in transaction description for each individual data and then load master like this and then do some data management like set column, cut, delete, data management, do something and select only AMD is select only outpatient and only 1 AN 4L. So for only PPI and NSAID and merge data and then use library to do some data manipulations and summarize and use another library for association rules and plot graph. So this is a code, only a short one. And I have a resource in here. Resource. Good. Yeah. Oh, too small. So we found that most physicians prescribe omeprazole with aspirin. The last circle. This is the strong relationship and atoxia and naproxen. You are orthopedist. No, ไม่ใช่ surgery. So this dicophene may yellow aspirin and ibuprofen. So normally for national we will prescribe omeprazole for only aspirin and ibuprofen. Only not what is it? Not celibate, not atoxia, because celibate and atoxia is another kind of NSAID. So we can discuss that why physicians still prescribe omeprazole with atoxia and celibate. And we can do the paper like this. Just explain the normal, regular prescription of physicians. This is an example of manuscript. So, and assignment is also very easy for another 15%. software like Orange or Rapid Miner is the drag and drop to practice like BI, but I think it's too much for you as a epidemiology student, not data science. So just find one paper related to data mining in this healthcare and discuss on study population intervention data source technique and your opinion for 15. So this is the example now, like this one. Computer aid and is a computer using canvas image or prediction of something use machine learning based on some technique. On this one. So you find one paper, right, and answer for these 5 items. Like for my study population, what is study population intervention, data source, data type, technique, and your opinion. So it's another 15%. So find one paper and discuss and paste your paper you found.
Sure. How can I write my suggestion because I like a level 0 in this field. So how can I write a good suggestion for
You
that?
mean read the discussion and for example they apply this algorithm to detect something. So you may like opinion that it's good. My assignment is very easy because it's very hard for me to give you the real data and ask you to do some clustering or k-mean. It's very hard. So I think it's better to give you an idea to find what you can read it. Discuss.
Can you give the example of the data mining and how the so we can identify if the user
Normally they have like I said the algorithm. This is the normally we have four type. Four type is like you have for example you will use t-test or chi-square, and then for t-test is another technique for t-test like student t-test. So for normally we have clustering, association, regression, and classification. But in here maybe k-mean, decision tree, naive Bayes, SVM, for association, A-loose, archaeolite, something like that. But in paper normally they will say that we will do clustering by this technique, do regression by this technique, classification by this technique, or association by some technique.
So the term data mining is what is it? Is it a way? It's just the term that
The bigger term to mine
to retrieve
data
and analyze.
and analyze.
Can you explain more about machine learning?
Machine learning.
I don't understand the first slide.
First, like,
The difference between statistical modeling and machine learning.
okay. For statistical modeling, normally you first of all you have to some assumption in your mind or in your head, and you set hypothesis to test if the hypothesis is true or not. Right? So you have to set something first in your mind. But for machine learning, sometimes you didn't know anything, but you have data. You trying to find some mind in your data. So they call data mining. Like for me, I have medicine database. I want to find something in there. So I just take association and find, physicians like to prescribe omeprazole with acoxia, like prescribe with celibate. If they prescribe with aspirin, it's okay. But for statistic, you may set the hypothesis first that physicians like to prescribe omeprazole with aspirin or not, and we test it. Or physicians like to prescribe omeprazole with celibate and acoxia. So you have something in your mind and you set hypothesis and you test it. But for machine learning, you don't have anything. You just want to find something in the data.
So even in the same data sets, we can
Yeah.
find both.
You can do both. So that's the last assignment. So no questions. So the last topic is very easy. It's about informatics and no assignment for informatics. So I will start with this one first, this slide. If you say like apple, so how many of you, when I say apple, how many of you think about this apple?
That
Because you're hungry. No, make fun. How about this one? Yeah. So it's about how you communicate with your friends, or so no right or wrong is apple. Computer is the same. If you didn't set any rules, you say fever. Someone think about something, another one think about something. So we have to set some standard for clinical communication. We call informatics. A thing like that. So what is informatics? How many of you know อาจารย์นวนันท์ อาจารย์นวนันท์ is clinician. He graduated from Rama and then he went to USA and studied health informatics and come back as a doctor. So he maybe like doesn't like to practice as a pharmacist or physician, so become an IT guy. He is very keen on this informatics. If you ask him to explain about informatics, he can explain for whole day. And right now he's association of IT department. For data science student, we have one course for health informatics. So we study about security, privacy, how to communicate in IT style. So this is the definition, what is informatics. Let's see. So knowledge informatics is the combination of people, information and technology. So it's 3 things. And many kind of informatics, like people informatics. So we add some now in front of informatics. But for us, we will focus only on research informatics. And bioinformatics, a lot of physicians do this, like อาจารย์ประภัสศิริราช keen on bioinformatics. So this is about gene. We have gene and then we try to find some knowledge from gene. So back to my first session model. We have data information knowledge wisdom. For information, because you are physician, when I ask you SBS, you know that fasting but sugar because you are physician. But if I ask someone what is SBS, they may say that it's like financial business score. So one word can be many kind of interpretation. So we need some standard to tell that this information is what is mean for this data. This one I just want you to see that the information change from the history. This the like back to 20 years, and this is the current one. So the back to in the past to collect family history, clinical note, clinical laboratory test. So it's like manual. But for the high technology, you use the IoT, use any device to collect data. So just want to compare that in the past and right now, the way you collect data is changed. So it's moved from paper-based to electronic-based, and from small data to the big one. So the problem is when you collect data from different device or different place, maybe they store in different language in IT language. So how can we standard the language in IT term? It's called informatics. Like this one. They have each data use different language. So you have to set some standard. We talk about Apple. Normally we have two standard term, but actually it's more than that. But the first one is structure, the second one is semantic. Just know that we have structure and semantic. So what is it? For example, Apple structure is the word structure is text, and Apple here, Apple device here, structure also text. So if you have only structure, you may think that apple you can eat, or apple you can use as a machine. But if you add some semantic to this structure, so we add concept that this is a hardware, so apple is different. The text the same apple, but it's a fruit, so it's this picture. And relationship is mean apple as a hardware. Apple is a hardware. Apple is a food. And all this we call ontology. Ontology is mean concept and relationship. So just know that in terms of informatics we have another term called ontology. So we need to have standard term for information. For e-health component, This is from the WHO. They say that for e-health component, one of the main thing is standard and interoperability. So this is infrastructure mean server, internet plan, and you have to have a team under good leadership with a good strategy, with policy, so you can build up e-health in your country. For informatics, we focus on standard and interoperability. Standard. What is standard? Oh, standard is standard. I don't know what is standard. It's a set of rules or guidelines, but standard can be set by someone, or standard can be for practice. You practice something openly and it becomes standard. So it can be officially setting or unofficially setting, but it's also standard. Like standard for Rama staff to do something. This is just a term, but for another word is interoperability. It's like communications between medicine, between machine. So think about your organization has different language or different server. For in Rama, we have Foco, we have SAP, we have Oracle, and for lab, we also have our own LIS, have another system for RIS. So if this machine want to talk with this machine without standard, they talk like this. Set some standard to talk, and to this machine set some another standard to talk. So without standard, we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15 language for these 6 nodes to talk without standard. Like if you are in Bangkok, we have local medicine code like Rama. For my previous slide, Omikaso is OMTC dash T dash. So for Rama, that code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 digits. But if we send this code to another hospital like Washila doesn't know that OMTC is Omikaso because we don't have any standard. So we have to set or send Washila first. This is our standard. So we can talk together. But when patients or several patients allergic to some medicine, and this is the example from Asanwana. He also give the example that a patient allergic to some medicine and went to Phuket for vacation and got accident and admit to the hospital. Hospital asked Rama that which medicine they allergic to, and Rama sent something to Phuket hospital, and Phuket hospital said, oh, I don't know which medicine because it's different code or different thing. So it's important to have some standard medicine code for country. So, or if you think about ICD-10, right now we have ICD-10, so no problem. But if they don't have any standard diagnosis or standard operation, Rama want to keep some word, some code, another hospital keep in another word. So we have 100 hospital. We need to have many standards. But for if the national government say we use ICD-10, so it's standard and hospital machine can talk together. So this is not standard. So we have 15 interoperability. If we have standard, it's more easier to communicate between each server. So that's why it's important. And for interoperability, it also has a level of connectivity. So it means machine can connect together, just connect. Changeability. So machine can change data, but cannot work, just change, interchange. Interoperability is can change data and work together. So it has 3 levels. So just know the concept. And health standard term, like I said earlier. For Thailand, we have core data set standard for NHSO, called 43 core data set standard. Or semantic standard, we have ICD, we use ICD. And national web code, in the past we used 24 digit for MOPS and TMT. So, you have for testing, do you know 24 digit medicine? 24 หลัก24 หลักอาจารย์เลยอาจารย์ไม่ได้ใช้ or TMT รู้จักใช่ไหมคะอาจารย์รู้จัก TMT ไม่รู้จัก but all of you know ICD 10 and ICD 9 and medical terminology like SNOMED. So how many of you know SNOMED CT? No. It's called standard nomenclature of medicine, clinical something. And Lloyd is standard for laboratory. And then now we don't have any standard laboratory terms in Thailand. So if you want to order for FBS in Rama, you use some term. FBS in another hospital use another term. And just last weekend, I do the analysis for Ajahn Anand. Retrieve laboratory results in Rama to find creatinine. But creatinine also have creatinine RT. They send me the picture and ask what is it? Creatinine. Oh, EGFR. We try to find the result of EGFR, but EGFR in Rama has normal EGFR, EGFR with CKD EPI, and EGFR 4444. So this is because we don't have any standard in our hospital. Oh yeah, they don't die. If we use Lloyd, for Lloyd, they also recommended the but you draw from fingertip and but you draw from armpit is not the same. So it's depend on the tube you use, the chemical you use to collect the sample. And to communicate, we have another term, HL7 CDE. Just know the term that for standard, we have many kinds of level. Core data set is like just data. Semantic has some concept and relationship. This is like ontology. Synthetic standard is how to communicate with another machine. EMR is in this standard. Like in AFR, the difference between field should be combined. Then you set like that, and when you send your clinical note, electronic clinical note from Bangkok to Phuket with this standard, they can transform your electronic into paper-based and print out because we use the same standard. For security and privacy standard is another thing to consider about this. The next slide is what without terminology standard and is what will be happening. So first data cannot comparable because it's different standard, cannot interchange and cannot use for research because it's in different term and linkage to decision support not possible because cannot link data from one software to another software. And another term is ontology, but don't worry much is about another term in informatics. Like just want you to just know that we have this term for informatics. SNOMED CT for diagnostic, ICD. This is the example for medication. This is from USA. We have RX-norm, DAC-bank, CHE-MDL. I know only RX-norm. And another thing for lab is Lloyd. Why we have to know about this? Because we have to have some standard. Like we want to accredit for process standard, you apply for ISO or HA, because HA and ISO is standard for process accreditation. This is for the start with inventory and then to hospital. For inventory, how many of you know GTIN? GTIN is barcode, right? Like barcode, like this one. This is GTIN. So for logistics, they use GTIN. If you see at your something medicine or your product, they have barcode here, and the first 3 digits is 8, some digit, but first 3 digits is country, like this water bottle is 885. 885 is mean this is a product of Thailand. Yeah. And another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is, if I'm not wrong, is our company. Like this one from 0999 is Nestle. And another 6 is product. So this is GT. So if you go back and see at medicine box or some bottle, you see barcode, and that is GT. So when you are shopping and the cashier scan, beep, beep, they scan your GT. Right? And in their system, GT said this code is 5 baht, that code is 7 baht, or they can do inventory like cut stock. This one go out for 1, another one go out, so they can control inventory without manually count but use the system. So that is GT. But it's for mainly it's for inventory and logistics. And after this is in the hospital we use ICD or DRG. And for Lloyd or HL7 to combination, and for clinical purpose use SNOMED CT. Just an example. Another one is another example for Thai medicine terminology. So you know TMT, right? So I think only two pharmacists know. So it's not like 24 code. Only code is should be how to say smart code and non-smart code. Smart code is mean if you saw the code, you know that what is it. Like I said, 885 is Thai, another 4 is country, another 6 is product. This is smart code, but TMT is running code. But they control the model by ontology, concept and relationship. Start with raw material and then form like this one is paracetamol. I have another. Okay. Like this one paracetamol. Generic product is GP is generic product. Paracetamol can be tablet and solution with different strength, but it's still paracetamol. Paracetamol solution can be Tylenol or Sama. This is trade product. So paracetamol solution is a trade product of Tylenol solution. And for GPU add unit of use, GPU add unit of use, GPP is product package. This level for logistics. This for hospital and this for clinicians. Like the VTM for ibuprofen and paracetamol is this number is running number. In oral dosage form, tablet with this same another code, and this is a product of ibuprofen 200 mg plus paracetamol 500 mg tablet oral 1 tablet. This proposes for prescription and this is a product of 1 tablet is a product of 1 pack. 1 pack is 10 tablets. But this is the generic. This is trade name. Why we need to have code like this? Go to this one. Person, prescriber, pharmacist, patient record, patient, supply chain. So at each level they use different code for prescriber. For physicians, they order that this patient need to take medicine 1 tablet 3 times a day. So they use TPU, right? Trade product unit with paracetamol 500 mg 1 tablet, and send the data to pharmacist. Pharmacist prepare the medicine based on prescriber. They order for 1 tablet 3 times a day or 20 tablets. So we use TPP, right? Trade product to dispense medicine to patients. And for inventory, we also use TPP. The good thing for this is if physicians order for Tylenol and pharmacists say that we don't have Tylenol right now, we have Sara, so we can substitute Tylenol with Sara by using GPU. because it's paracetamol the same. Or for therapeutic substitute, for example, vegetable order for atorvastatin, but pharmacists say that atorvastatin cannot be reversed. So we need to change for atorvastatin to simvastatin. So use GPU, right? It's different. And another benefit for Sinomed, you see that they start with diagnosis with one code and relationship has another code. Code forward is delayed, relationship is in. So diarrhea, diarrhea, disorder is acute gastrointestinal distress is a mode and relationship concept and relationship. So they have some link, some relationship, and can link to TMT by Lopinavir. Lopinavir is a medicine in this retroviral protease inhibitor in this group, and this group is antiviral agent. Antiviral agent is an anti-infective agent. It's a drug, and this drug can use for that induce can cause that induce gastrointestinal distress. So if a hospital has this code and can link to Sinomed CT, we can use clinical knowledge in Sinomed CT in our system because we can link to the standard code. So it's a benefit for laboratory like fasting blood sugar, as I say. Normally, if you say about fasting blood sugar, they have synonym blood sugar, fasting blood sugar, low blood glucose. So in Lloyd, they said the name, synonym, and map. And for each test, they have part like component property, time, method, scale, and system. Like fasting blood sugar need to draw what 8 to 12 or 12 hours with NPO, something like that. So for each lab, they set the time, set method, set scale, set property, set component, and set system. So that is informative. So just give you an idea what is it. And we finish for today. Because it's the last day, so we have any questions? AI is artificial intelligence, so you teach the machine to do something. How to teach? You teach by machine learning algorithm. So the relationship is machine learning is algorithm, but like language you teach is an outcome, but machine learning algorithm outcome of machine learning algorithm is model. But we use that model to teach machine to do something, and that machine called AI. machine learning. But data mining is actually it's almost the same, but data is you mine data. Machine learning is normally is algorithm, machine learning algorithm.
It's like a data mining system get the resource and then use that resource with the process of the machine learning to make a model
Make a model.
and then use that model to train the machine to be
AI. I got that. So you teach a car to drive by themselves. Car is AI. How to teach? You get some data and you mine some data with machine learning algorithm to teach that AI. It depends, no? But should be because no data you cannot train something to do something to do their job. So you have to have some data or some corrections, some picture or some data. Any questions? So just to wrap up that you start with overview with assumption, right? And then searching information from Ajahn Sakta, research workflow from Ajahn Sakta, and how to manage videography, Ajahn Pravin, and how to deal with primary data by create CRF and key in EP data by Ajahn Sasiviran, and this is the concept of big data, data warehouse, BI, machine learning, and informatics. And the last one is you will visit DMU with Ajahn Jaranik. So do you know how to code it? Oh, you know, oh, very good. I search for Google. So if you want to walk from Nama, I'm not sure that not M or Mel will get the what two of us or you or not. But if you want to walk Islam Jubili and Chai firm right to near Anusawari opposite เขามงกุฎเก้าSo enjoy your assignment. ขอบคุณค่ะได้ค่ะ
iya soalnya kan gara-gara dia bermasalah sama ini mau tanda tangan tuh nggak punya gitu bisa kan kamu bilangin kan
semoga dibuat kalian ya.
iya terus akhirnya boleh pindah soalnya kemarin yang opsi yang gue dikasih barusan sama orang apa namanya itu bagus banget dengan harga yang sama kamarnya lebih bagus terus apa namanya di kamar yang baru tuh ukurannya sama cuma proper apa namanya furniture-nya dari kan harusnya di apartemen jadi pakai sofa gitu kasur big size gitu jadi kamar baru kasur big size terus ada sofanya ada diganti apa diganti dengan ada sedih jadi gue bisa tidur
ลืมปิดเขาปิดก่อนนะคะเดี๋ยวลืมสวัสดีค่ะสวัสดีค่ะขอบคุณค่ะเดี๋ยวนะยัง